part of it was in the I'm giving myself an out.
You put the target on your forehead, and it sets you up. And the only way you can do it is to feel you have to. You have to. You don't have an option. You have to.
When you think of Meryl Streep, the first things that come to mind are her unmatched talent, grace, and the legendary roles that earned her the title of Hollywood's greatest actress.
I am the most overrated.
But even icons have their limits. And behind the polished red carpet smiles lies a woman who has clashed with certain co-stars in ways you wouldn't believe. From on-set tensions to personal disagreements, today we're pulling back the curtain to reveal the top 6 actors Meryl Streep hated the most. The perfectionist who changed acting. From her earliest stage roles to her 5 decades at the top of Hollywood, Meryl Streep has been a force of discipline, precision, and brilliance. In an industry where charm and improvisation often take center stage, she carved a unique path. For her, acting was never just performance. It was a craft.
I paid the rent, I paid the Con Ed bill, and I paid the phone bill, so...
To be studied, researched, and executed with the rigor of a scholar. Every accent, every gesture, every flicker of emotion was carefully considered, tested, and then delivered with astonishing authenticity. Her reputation as perhaps the greatest living actress wasn't handed to her. It was built through an almost relentless pursuit of truth in every role she played. Yet that same devotion sometimes made her a difficult collaborator. Co-stars, who thrived on spontaneity or who leaned on charisma, often found themselves unsettled by Streep's methodical intensity. She wasn't one for loud arguments or dramatic public feuds. Instead, her disapproval often came in a quieter form, an unmistakable coolness, a professional distance that spoke louder than any headline. These behind-the-scenes frictions matter because they highlight something deeper than gossip. They expose the fault lines within Hollywood itself, the question of what acting should be. Is it instinct and charm? Is it raw emotion, unfiltered? Or is it the result of painstaking craftsmanship? For Streep, the answer was always clear. Acting, at its highest level, is deliberate, demanding, and exact. And that's why her clashes with some of cinema's biggest names aren't just juicy stories. They are windows into the very soul of her art. Who was the first on the list? Why was she feeling intimidated by Meryl's presence? Let's delve into the details of the award winner who Meryl wasn't wowed by her performance. Number 6. Gwyneth Paltrow. Not every Hollywood rivalry plays out with fiery exchanges or tabloid wars. Some unfold quietly, like a frost that never melts, a silence that carries more weight than words. Such was the tension between Meryl Streep, often hailed as the greatest actress of her generation, and Gwyneth Paltrow, the golden girl of the late 90s. The spark came in 1999, when Paltrow stunned the world by winning the Oscar for Shakespeare in Love.
For her Oscar win in 1999, Gwyneth wore one of the most talked-about Oscar gowns of all time,
edging out Streep's deeply admired turn in One True Thing. The decision split Hollywood. Was Gwyneth's victory truly about artistry, or was it fueled by her image, charm, and Hollywood family ties? Behind the glitter of the ceremony, whispers of discontent traveled through industry circles. Meryl never lashed out publicly. She didn't criticize the Academy's choice, yet her silence was telling. There was no congratulatory word, no warm acknowledgement, no mentorship extended. In an industry where subtle gestures carry great meaning, her quiet refusal spoke volumes. To many, it felt like Streep was drawing a line in the sand. For Meryl, Gwyneth embodied a troubling shift in the industry, a generation more enamored with fame, beauty, and branding than with the grueling discipline of the craft. That impression only grew sharper when Paltrow pivoted into lifestyle ventures like Goop, carving a name as much for her business empire as for her acting. By contrast, Meryl often championed younger actresses who reminded her of a pure devotion to the art. She praised the likes of Cate Blanchett and Saoirse Ronan, actresses who radiated intensity, depth, and relentless commitment. Noticeably, Paltrow's name was never spoken in that same breath. For Gwyneth, the silence cut deep. She later confessed that Streep intimidated her. Beneath the polished red carpet smiles, she longed for the recognition she never received from Hollywood's most revered star. Now, who is the next on the list? What were their interactions like? Let's dig into the details of the actor who thrives on charisma, with a style totally different from hers. Number 5. Jack Nicholson. In the 1980s, Nicholson wasn't just a star, he was Hollywood royalty. He had the swagger, the grin, the sharp voice, and that untouchable aura that made every room bend around him.
Friend Diane, she once said about meeting Mike Nichols, "I knew before he spoke, I knew before he was walking across the room."
Nicholson didn't disappear into his roles the way traditional actors did. Instead, he made every role orbit him. That was the essence of his charm, and, for Meryl Streep, the exact problem with modern stardom. Their collision came in Mike Nichols' Heartburn in 1986. Nicholson had been brought in at the last minute, replacing Mandy Patinkin, leaving Meryl stunned and unsettled. From day one, the clash was unmistakable. Off camera, Nicholson was flirtatious and relentless, often testing boundaries in ways that made her uncomfortable. On camera, his style couldn't have been more different from hers. Nicholson thrived on spontaneity, charisma, and raw instinct, while Meryl arrived on set armed with months of deep research, methodical choices, and carefully layered preparation. The result was scenes that looked polished but never truly sparked. Author Erin Carlson summed it up best in Queen Meryl. She had to fend him off. Privately, Meryl admitted to Nichols that Nicholson seemed more in love with the spotlight than with the craft. Their second project, Ironweed in 1987, only deepened the divide. They remained civil and professional, but the ice never thawed. Nicholson later dismissed method acting as nothing more than intellectual masturbation. To him, acting was magic born in the moment. To Meryl, who had built her career on precision, discipline, and emotional excavation, that line wasn't just a throwaway. It was a direct insult to everything she valued. They never worked together again. Nicholson played with sparks. Meryl built cathedrals, and their worlds, dazzling as they were, could never meet in harmony. What about another actor whose interaction with her was one of chaos meeting structure? Let's dive into the details of another actor Meryl hated the most. Number 4. Alec Baldwin. When It's Complicated in 2009 brought Meryl Streep and Alec Baldwin together, audiences were charmed by what looked like natural, sparkling chemistry. On screen, they laughed, flirted, and argued with ease, drawing viewers into the messy, funny romance of...
It's a romantic comedy and it stars Meryl Streep, Steve Martin, and Alec Baldwin, all caught up in a very awkward love triangle.
Two ex-spouses who couldn't quite let go. But behind the camera, the mood wasn't always so seamless. Meryl approached the romantic comedy with the same intensity she would bring to a Shakespearean tragedy. To her, every character deserved a fully mapped emotional journey. She rehearsed carefully, asked questions, refined her choices, and built each scene with precision. Baldwin, however, thrived on chaos. He preferred to dive in head first, improvise lines, and test new jokes in the moment. Sometimes he would change a gesture, or even rewrite a punchline mid-scene. For Meryl, this unpredictability was exhausting. Crew members remembered her visible reactions when Baldwin's freewheeling style derailed a moment she had spent hours fine-tuning. While she remained professional, she quietly requested reshoots, pushed for more rehearsals, and looked for structure that might tame his spontaneity. To her, discipline and preparation were sacred. Without them, a performance risked losing its weight. Baldwin later spoke glowingly of her, calling her brilliant, commanding, even intimidating. He seemed in awe of her commitment, even if he couldn't match it. But insiders whispered that Meryl, behind her calm exterior, was quietly frustrated. She once remarked in an interview, "You do the work. The rest is noise." To friends and colleagues, it was clear who she had in mind. Actors like Baldwin, whose looseness clashed with her rigor. The movie went on to become a commercial hit, winning praise for the pair's undeniable chemistry. Yet, tellingly, the two stars never collaborated again. The tension between discipline and improvisation had produced magic on screen, but left no desire for a sequel off it. Meryl had a kind of feud with the next actor, as their interaction showed the conflict in their approach. Who is he? Let's find out. Number 3. Jeremy Irons. Of all the rivalries whispered about in Meryl Streep's long career, perhaps the most intellectually charged was her quiet feud with Jeremy Irons. On paper, the two should have been a perfect match. Both classically trained, both celebrated as actors who gave every role a rare gravity. Together, they might have created something unforgettable. Instead, they collided in a way that left an invisible crack between them that never healed. Meryl has always approached her craft like an archaeologist at a dig. She patiently brushes away the surface, searching for hidden truths, layering detail upon detail until a character feels startlingly alive. Jeremy Irons, in contrast, treats roles as though they are precious jewels.
Jeremy Irons won the Oscar, you'll remember. He's appeared in so many good movies and TV shows through the years.
For him, it's about refinement, polish, elegance, restraint, and control. Both methods are powerful, but together they created sparks of the wrong kind. The tension came to a head during rehearsals for a lavish historical drama that, ironically, never even made it to production. During one heated session, Irons reportedly muttered that Meryl's style sometimes felt like she was auditioning for best technique rather than becoming a flesh-and-blood human being. To her, it was not just criticism, it was a dismissal of everything she believed about acting. Meryl's reply was swift, cutting, and unforgettable. If you think detail and truth are mutually exclusive, Jeremy, then you're not listening. You're performing at people, not for them. The room went silent. In that moment, the divide between them became permanent. From that day onward, their relationship froze into something like polite frost. They shared no joint projects, gave no warm interviews about each other, and maintained only the thinnest veneer of civility when paths inevitably crossed. What could have been a legendary artistic partnership instead became one of Hollywood's most quietly fascinating rifts, an intellectual battle with no winners, only a lingering distance. The next is an actor with a very playful personality, which conflicts with Meryl's professional values. Who is he? How did she get to hate him? Let's dig into the details. Number 2. Bruce Willis. Fast forward to 1992. Death Becomes Her promised to be a glittering jewel in Hollywood's crown, a dark, twisted comedy about vanity, beauty, and the impossible chase for immortality. The cast alone was enough to make headlines. Meryl Streep, the queen of dramatic precision, Goldie Hawn, beloved for her sharp wit and comic charm, and Bruce Willis, still basking in the glow of die-hard fame. On paper, the chemistry seemed flawless. But when the camera started rolling, something unexpected happened. The magic cracked. Streep's approach to acting was surgical. She dissected every line, every gesture, every pause until it carried exact meaning. To her, performance was a carefully woven tapestry where nothing was accidental. Bruce Willis, however, thrived on the opposite. He was instinctive, playful, and often unrehearsed. Improvisation gave him energy. What felt authentic to him seemed sloppy to her. The clash was immediate. Crew members whispered about the tension, remembering the long silences as directors struggled to bridge the gulf between them. Streep wanted structure. Willis wanted spontaneity. Instead of sparking brilliance, their opposing styles created scenes that felt oddly disjointed, like two different films unfolding in the same frame. When the movie finally reached audiences, the imbalance was clear. Streep drew praise for her sharp, commanding performance, while Willis appeared almost misplaced, as if he had wandered into the wrong story. Meryl never openly criticized him. She didn't need to. Her lack of words was itself a verdict. Later, when asked whether she would ever attempt another comedy like Death Becomes Her,
Meryl Streep in the film Death Becomes Her, an updated theatrical version of the movie,
she gave a small, knowing smile. "Some experiences don't need repeating," she replied. It was gentle but final. One film, one mismatch. And for Streep, one chapter forever closed. And the last on the list is an actor who is best described with one word too many. Who is he? What made her despise him? Let's talk about the expensive comment an actor made about Meryl. Number 1. Ben Affleck. One word too many. Sometimes the sharpest divides in Hollywood from a single, unforgettable moment under the public spotlight. In 2017, at the Golden Globe Awards, Meryl Streep delivered a speech that would ripple far beyond the ceremony. With poise and passion, she criticized then-President Donald Trump, speaking about respect, empathy, and the dangers of leaders who mock or belittle others.
Disrespect invites disrespect. Violence incites violence.
Her words were bold, heartfelt, and instantly became the subject of endless debate across America. Soon after, the press turned to actor and director Ben Affleck for a reaction. His comment was brief, but it landed like a punch. "She's overrated." Many were stunned. Was he serious? Affleck later claimed he was being sarcastic, imitating Trump's infamous insult towards Streep. But the explanation came too late. The sting of the words lingered, and for many, the damage was already done. For Streep, integrity has always been her compass. She values dignity and truth more than the easy Hollywood habit of playing politics with silence. Yet, in this case, her response spoke louder than words. She did not fire back. She did not mention Affleck again in interviews. Instead, she drew her line quietly, ensuring their professional paths never crossed. Rumors swirled in the industry. Insiders whispered that Streep had once been considered for a political thriller Affleck was set to direct. She would have been the leading star, the moral anchor of the story. But when the dust from that Golden Globes comment settled, the project mysteriously disappeared. Officially, it was called a scheduling conflict. Unofficially, many believed she simply passed, without drama, without fuss. To this day, no red carpet photos of them exist. No warm public exchanges, no joint credits. Two Hollywood powerhouses circling the same sky, yet deliberately keeping their stars from colliding. What can be implied from the misunderstandings Meryl has had with her co-stars? Let's delve into the details that goes beyond the very eyes. The bigger picture. Taken one by one, the disagreements Meryl Streep had with her co-stars might look like nothing more than ordinary spats or mismatched personalities. But when viewed together, they reveal a much bigger picture, a portrait of a woman who demanded more, not only from herself, but from everyone around her. For Meryl, acting was never just a job.
If we did have a royal list, the name of Meryl Streep would surely be at the very top.
Never something to take lightly. It was sacred. It was work that required truth, dedication, and absolute seriousness. She believed audiences deserved honesty, not laziness or shortcuts. She was never the easiest person to share a set with, and she never tried to disguise that truth. For her, acting was never about pleasing egos or seeking comfort. It was about sacrifice, raw honesty, and fearless commitment. She would compromise on convenience, even pride, but never on the art itself. To her, performance meant digging into uncomfortable depths, stretching beyond limits, and refusing to coast on charm or safety. Every role demanded truth, intensity, and nothing less than her absolute best. Meryl Streep isn't celebrated as the greatest living actress only for her unmatched talent. She earned that title because she never settled, never for mediocrity, never for shallow vanity, and never for those unwilling to rise to her demanding standard. Her crown was forged through resilience, excellence, and uncompromising integrity. So, who do you think Meryl hates the most? Do these misunderstandings have negative effects on Hollywood? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.